All right, it's time to finally dive in and write some Python code. Now you'll need a text or code editor in order to write your Python code and then test it out via the terminal. So you can use whatever you'd like. I really recommend atom.io. It's a free open source code editor, I think created by the people at GitHub, but it's available on all platforms, Linux, Windows, Mac. It's really great. So go ahead and open up whatever text editor you'd like. I'm going to be using Atom. And once we're there, we need to create a new file. So I'm going to go ahead and save this one, probably just onto my desktop. And I'm going to name it something like Python refresh.py. The important part is that we have the .py. That specifies a Python file. So you call it whatever you want, but create a file, save it somewhere like on your desktop, go ahead and hit save. And then once you're there, we can start writing some code. Now, first things first, kind of the basic building block of the Python programming language, I think, is creating variables. So whenever you create a new variable in Python, you don't have to specify anything like var, or now I'm creating a specific type of int, string, whatever it is. You just type the name of a variable. So if I want a variable to hold my age, I can say age space and then set it equal to something like 27. So now I have a variable named age and it's equal to 27. You can do the same thing with strings. So that's how you can do ints. If I want to make a string that holds my name, I can say something like, okay, name is equal to Nick, just like this. And that's how you create variables. I mean, really simple stuff here. So after writing these lines of code, if we want to test this and see how it actually works, like run this code, what we need to do is go to our terminal and we need to move to wherever we saved our .py file. So for me, it's on the desktop. So I need to say cd capital desktop because that's where mine is. If you don't know how to move around in the terminal, I mean, a basic procedure is if you do ls, it'll show you currently the stuff that's where you are. If you want to go back to where you were, you can do cd ... hit enter like this, and now if I hit ls here, I mean it's basically the terminal here is another way to interface with your computer and move through folders and stuff. If this is confusing at all to you, please reach out to me or I can help you, but hopefully you have a little bit of a background with this. But again, just get to wherever your Python file is. Mine, for example, is on the desktop, so I'm going to say cd Python or cd desktop. Got to get back to that desktop. And if I hit ls, I see I have this Python refresh file, so I'm going to say Python3 space and then type the name of my file here. So Python, and if you hit tab, usually that does an autocomplete, and if I hit enter, nothing shows up, which is a good thing. That means our code worked. For example, if I just typed like age is equal to 27 ABC like this, hit save on this and try to run this again, like I'm going to get this thing saying, whoa, this code really doesn't make sense here. But if you want to have some sort of output from your code, you can use a print to have something show up on the terminal. So for example, I want to print out something that's inside of age or name. I can say print and put age right inside of here. Okay, so this should print out 27. Go back to my terminal, and in the terminal, if you ever hit the up arrow, it does the last command that you did. So go ahead, hit enter on that, and you can see it spit out 27. If I decide I want to now print the name, hit save on this file, come back to the terminal, run that, you can see it printed out Nick. Okay, now one thing I will show you about strings, which are pretty cool, and again, to make a string in Python, I guess I didn't really dive into this, you just have to put quotes around some text. It can be double quotes or it can be single quotes if you want. They're both interchangeable in Python. Although if you start with a single quote, I believe you have to end with a single quote. If you start with a double, you have to end like that. Like I believe this is going to give us an error. Let's go ahead and check. Yeah, if you do start with a single, you got to end with a single, or if you start with a double, you got to do double. But so if you have a string and you want to sort of bring some variables into it, so for example, let's say I want to print out some information, like I say, hello, my name is Nick, and I am 27 years old. Okay, So this is valid code. This should print out when we run this. If we go back to our terminal, you can see it prints out, hello, my name is Nick and I'm 27 years old. But what we could do is, rather than always just say Nick and 27, is we could say take what's ever inside these variables, so that we could change these variables if we wanted to. So the way to do that is, for example, if I want to replace Nick, I'm going to delete Nick, put in 2 curly brackets inside of my string, and at the end of the string I have to say dot format, do parentheses, and then inside of here pass in what I want inside of there. For example, I want name to come through, so I'm going to type name here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and save this, hit run, and look what happens. It says hello, my name is Nick, and you're saying, well, that's what it did last time, but look what happens when I change Nick to Matt. Okay, go ahead and save this, and boom, now it says hello, my name is Matt and I'm 27 years old. So it's pulling the information from this variable here inside the string. We can do the same with age 27, put our 2 curly brackets here, and then we just, after name, we put a comma to say, okay, fill in the second curly bracket thing with this variable. Okay, so let's change age to something like 35. So now it should say, hello, my name is Matt and I'm 35 years old. We'll save this, go back to the terminal, hit run, bada bing, bada boom. So there you have it. That's sort of the basics, right? We just covered how to make variables, we covered how to make ints, how to do strings, and we also learned how to print, and with strings we learned how to do some concatenation stuff. So I have a little exercise for you to make sure you're up to speed here, but once you're done with that, keep trucking.